Alright YouTube, October the 7th here, and we are field ready. It's kind of fun to bring back these old combines back into operating condition, and boy, we've changed a lot of parts. Just going to do a quick walk around, and then I'm going to detail all the parts we changed to the best of my ability on remembering. I mean, we changed quite a bit, but it's just awesome in my opinion to bring back something that's 40 years old from the brink. We don't like to go out and say, oh, fingers crossed, I hope we make it another year. And it's just kind of fun for us. I grew up running these, grew up working on them, and so I finally bought my own and decided to add to the insanity that we do here. I'm going to detail all the parts that we changed as best as I can recollect, and what we basically did to the combine to finish out the series here. And there's still more work to do. We've got about 4 major projects on this, but we've done enough to get field ready and mechanically sound. The other things are just things we like to do as a preemptive step, and we just like to make our combines nicer and nicer every year. With that said, I'm going to dive right in here on the back. We have brand new straw chopper knives installed and balanced. You have to have these balanced. Years ago, my father, not knowing, he had wore out straw chopper knives and said, well, I'll just weld some sickle sections on there and that'll sharpen those right back up. And as he was going around the field, the machine, the straw chopper, being out of balance, vibrated loose and actually fell off of the combine. And so that's just a little bitty tidbit of information there. It's kind of funny in my opinion. One of those old stories you'll never hear again probably. And I just got off the phone with Glenn not too long ago. The straw chopper rather, concave, is only $180, and there was one available, so I got that coming. Don't know that I'll ever run it, but I'd rather have it on the combine, and that just makes your combine complete. Moving on, something I should mention: if you see a belt on this combine, it's brand new. Every belt was changed. We like to go all the way on these old girls, as you can see in our documentary series, if you've made it this far. And moving on, we have a brand new elevator chain for our re-thrash elevator here. This cross shaft was uninstalled, new bearings, and built up on the end that had spun. This end spun. Moving on to our clean grain elevator, we have a brand new elevator chain in it. Cross shaft was pulled, built up at a machine shop. This side had spun. Moving right along here, we have a custom battery box. You always want the highest cold cranking amps you can get, whether you're going to be doing a cold start. Plus, I moved it forward so I can actually open my clean grain elevator hatch. Brand new ground clamp there. You don't want to scrimp on something like that. Get good connection. I always like to clean my connection to the body or the chassis with sandpaper, and then I lacquer seal it with that battery terminal protector. That's what the red stuff is on that. I did not replace the positive cable because a copper wire is a copper wire. I did, however, shine all the copper that I could so I get good connection, and brand new positive battery clamp. Moving on, fan speed controls here. Had to put a brand new thrust disc on back here. That was not cheap. I believe that was $170. And brand new key stocks in this shaft and in the lower shaft. The lower shaft doesn't take as much abuse. However, it had just a little bit of play and so if I can freshen it up, get me a few thousandths on it, that's a few thousandths tighter. This one was very wore, brand new key stock in both shafts, as I said, brand new belts, and we're good to go now. Moving up top, we have a new air filter here. That's the cheapest kind of maintenance you can do. Said it was changed in 05, but that was a long time ago. It's 2016 now. And inspected our air tube for mud daubers' nests. That's always a common problem. And mud daubers, they love to get in anywhere. The threshing clutch we stole from the 550. They wanted quite a bit for these dogs, which are these silver pieces right here. They were pretty wore on the 510, possibly due from under tightening. You have to get that big nut right here to 300 foot-pounds of torque. I had to buy a special torque wrench for that. I didn't have one, but I do now. And that's a 2.5 inch nut, in case anybody was wondering. Moving on, we put this nice aluminized exhaust pipe on. Brought it back down to the original side, as we talked about in the video. This makes it nicer if you're ever farming close to trees. It doesn't get swatted and bent off or broke off. And that's how it was from the factory. So that's how we wanted to put it back. We put this turn on the end because, being a diesel, it's going to smoke a little bit, and that should help to keep the black stuff off of your combine. Of course, we checked our oil in our 2-speed gearbox here, and just a quick frame of reference, I always like to write on the machine so you can look right at a glance, and you're working and you're not going back to the manual. And again, in here, 5/8 of an inch, 5/8, 15/16 down there. You're going to be adjusting that from time to time. Just makes it quick. We don't have this chain installed because we are not running a 63C corn head. So this will not be used. I might leave it on the combine, I don't know, or I'll take it off and put it up in the loft, and then I'll have a backup one of these on standby. Helper springs installed, of course, and we try to anticipate any problems. Brand new hydraulic lines, you're talking pennies on the dollar compared to if you break down on a Saturday and you can't get any hoses made because it's 12:05 instead of 11:30 and you can't get into the parts store. That should take care of this side of the combine, and I will move on to the other side. Something else I forgot to mention earlier, both slip clutches. This slip clutch has been redone, and then up here on our throat or table elevator, this slip clutch has been redone. Brand new friction discs, and both of them were welded solid. Hate to see that on a good old combine, just because someone didn't understand the principle, or they were trying to get done because it was slipping. It was just permeated with oil. You keep your machines clean, you don't have a lot of those problems. And I think that will wrap up this combine. We took a piece of Celotex. These are always chewed up or missing, and you cut that, do the best job you can. Cut that and put it on the roof. That helps to block out a little bit of the heat. And we put carpet in. It's nothing too fancy. I have the original under here, but just to keep it with the combine. But if you can cover your whole floor, there's cracks up here that just seals better with carpet. They weren't ever an airtight machine, but they were a lot better than an open station. Just an old bathroom rug back there. Once again, nothing fancy. We like to change out what parts we can to the more modern style. We put the 550 seat cushions in, and then I did always love that silver, so I put the silver cap for the air filter, the cab air filter in. And there'll be different things, and I'm sure I've missed some things that we've changed out, like in the documentary. But it's just awesome to put an old combine back into service. I'm going to wrap up this rebuild series. Thank everybody that viewed it, and don't be afraid to hit that like and thumbs up button, and share the video if you like. It's always fun working on these old combines, and we're ready to hit the field. We're going to run the Massey 510 Bearcat. I like this sticker. Put it on the front and the back. And we're going to run the old 300 diesel. Just kind of fun. We enjoy doing it. So we'll see you next time. Yeehaw.